Have you ever noticed how the world reacts to noise? When you shout, the world shouts back. When you fight fire with fire, all you get is a bigger burn. But what if the most powerful weapon isn't a raised voice or a clenched fist? What if the thing that truly breaks someone is silence? Not the silence of defeat, but the silence of unshakable peace. We spend so much time trying to be heard. We think that to win, we must be louder. But today's story is about a woman who won a war without speaking a single angry word. She didn't fight back, she didn't argue, she just stood still. And that stillness, that quiet strength, it broke them more than any storm of anger ever could. Let me tell you the story of Mira. Mira was a young bride in a large joint family. She wasn't just married to a man, she was married to his ambitions, his mother's expectations, and his sister's judgments. Her husband, Arjun, was a good man at heart, but like many, he was busy. Busy climbing the corporate ladder, busy checking his phone, busy being tired. He loved Mira, but love had become a habit, not an action. He had stopped seeing her. And his mother? Let's call her Kamla Ji. Kamla Ji was the queen of that household. She ruled with a sharp tongue and a sharper memory for every mistake. From day one, Mira wasn't good enough. Her rotis were too soft. Her spices were too mild. She woke up too late, which was 5:30 a.m. by the way, and she laughed too loudly. At first, Mira tried. Oh, she tried so hard. She tried to adjust. She tried to be the perfect daughter-in-law. She woke up earlier. She watched cooking videos. She even stopped wearing her favorite bright colors because Kamla Ji said they were too flashy. But the more she tried to fit in, the more she was pushed out. The sisters-in-law would whisper and giggle when she passed by. Kamla Ji would make sarcastic remarks during dinner. Some people are just born with butterfingers, I guess, she'd say after Mira dropped a ladle. Arjun would just look down at his plate. He never defended her. He never started the fight, but he never stopped it either. This is where many of us break, isn't it? We try to please, we try to change, we beg for approval with our actions. But Mira was about to discover that you cannot beg for respect. Respect is not given to those who ask. It is given to those who command it. The breaking point came on a humid Tuesday afternoon. A small decorative vase of family heirloom was found broken on the floor. Kamla Ji didn't ask if Mira was okay. She didn't ask if the glass had cut her. She simply stood at the door, her face red with rage, and pointed a shaking finger. "You!" she screeched. "You and your clumsy hands. Do you know how old that vase was? It belonged to my mother. You have no respect. You come into this house and you destroy everything." Mira looked up. She had been sweeping the hall. The vase had been on a high shelf. A strong gust of wind from the open window had slammed the door, shaking the shelf. It wasn't her fault, but Mira knew the truth didn't matter. Arjun rushed in, hearing the noise. He looked at his mother, then at Mira. "Mira," he said, his voice tired, "why are you so careless? Just apologize to Ma so we can move on." He didn't ask what happened. He just wanted peace. He wanted her to take the blame so the noise would stop. This was the moment. The volcano inside Mira was ready to erupt. She wanted to scream. She wanted to throw the broom down. She wanted to list every sacrifice she had made, every insult she had swallowed, every tear she had cried in that house. She wanted to yell, "I am not your servant, I am your wife." Anger was there, hot and ready. But as she looked at Arjun's tired, dismissive face and Kamla Ji's triumphant sneer, something shifted inside her. She realized something powerful. If she screamed, she would just be the angry, hysterical woman. If she fought, she would be the problem. They wanted her to react. They wanted her anger. Because anger makes you messy. Anger makes you look guilty. So, Mira took a deep breath. A long, slow, deep breath, and she chose a different path. Mira stood up. She looked directly at Kamla. There was no fire in her eyes. There was no water of tears. There was just a calm sea. She didn't scream. She didn't explain. She simply folded her hands gently, bowed her head slightly, and in a voice so soft it was almost a whisper, she said, "I hope your day gets better, Ma-ji." That was it. No defense, no argument, no apology for something she didn't do, just a wish of goodwill. She then turned to Arjun. He was waiting for the explosion. He was bracing for the fight. But she just looked at him, looked right through his tired eyes and into his cowardly soul. And then, without a word, she stepped around him and walked out of the room. She went to her bedroom, she closed the door, and she sat down. But in the kitchen, the silence she left behind was deafening. Kamla stood there, mouth open. She was holding her breath, ready for round two, but there was no opponent. It was like screaming into a void. The anger inside Kamla had nowhere to go. It bounced back. It hit her. She felt foolish, standing there, holding a broken vase, screaming at a woman who had just wished her a good day. Arjun felt it too. In the silence, he couldn't hear Mira's voice. For the first time, he heard his own conscience. He saw the scene replay in his head. He saw his mother yelling. He saw his wife hurt yet graceful. And he saw himself a spectator. For the next few days, Mira didn't change. She didn't give the silent treatment where you sulk and hope someone notices. No, she was peaceful. She did her chores, she cooked, she even made tea for Kamla. But she did it with a quiet dignity that built a wall around her. When Kamla made a rude comment at dinner, Mira didn't react. She just continued eating, a slight, knowing smile on her face. When the sisters whispered, Mira looked at them, not with anger, but with pity. Pity that they had to find joy in hurting others. Her quiet strength broke them. It broke Kamla first. The lack of reaction was maddening. She had no power. Her words were just air. She started avoiding Mira because being around Mira made her feel small. It made her feel like the villain in her own house. It broke Arjun slowly. He started noticing things. He noticed how peaceful the room was when Mira was reading. He noticed how good the food tasted when it was made without fear. He noticed the loneliness in his own heart. One night, he found Mira on the terrace looking at the stars. He sat beside her. The silence was heavy. Finally, he spoke. "Mira, I'm sorry." 2 words, small words, but they cost him everything. Mira turned to him. "For what?" she asked, genuinely curious. "For never being on your side." "For making you fight alone." His voice cracked. Mira looked back at the stars. "I wasn't fighting, Arjun. I was just refusing to break that night," Arjun cried. He cried because he realized he had been married to a diamond, but he was too busy looking at the dust on the floor to see it. The change didn't happen overnight, but it started. Arjun started speaking up, small things at first. "Ma, Mira worked hard on this meal." "Ma, the vase wasn't her fault." Kamla, for the first time, had nothing to say. Because her son was finally acting like a man, and the quiet daughter-in-law had won the war without firing a single bullet. So, what is the lesson here for you and me? We live in a world that tells us to roar. We are told that if someone hurts you, you hurt them back twice as hard. We think anger is strength, but Mira shows us the truth. Real strength is control. Real power is peace. When you stay quiet, not because you are weak, but because you refuse to let someone else's poison enter your heart, you become untouchable. Your character isn't tested when you are angry. It's tested when you have every right to be angry and you choose to be kind. Anger is like grabbing a hot coal to throw at someone. You are the one who gets burned. Mira put the coal down. If you are going through a storm today, If someone is trying to break you with their words or their actions, remember Mira, you don't have to scream to be heard. Sometimes the loudest statement is the one you don't make. Protect your peace, because a mountain does not fight the wind. It just stands there, and eventually the wind gets tired. Be the mountain. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that warm the soul. Thank you for listening.